Hello, good evening and welcome to another episode of Easy 8's Online Painting Club. My name's Danny and for the next 2 hours I'm going to be sat here keeping you company live while you paint your miniatures and I paint mine. I must apologise, I'm a little bit croaky today. I'm still not fully recovered from the time when I was a little bit poorly a little while ago. And it's been a busy couple of days at work and I'm just a little... Anyway, I am feeling fine though and I'm good to carry on painting this evening. If you are new here, Easy 8 isn't a tutorial show or anything like that. It is just simply a place where you can come along, make some friends over here in the live chat or wherever it is that they appear on your screen. If you're on mobile, I think they're down there. If you're on PC, I think they're over there somewhere. You can come along, make some friends, chat about the projects that you're doing. If you're working on a project, if you're painting a project, building a project, or if you're just genuinely chilling out, come and let us know because I genuinely would like to know about it. You can take pictures of whatever it is that you're working on, stick them up on Facebook because we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, and we're on Discord at the end of the show as well. If you want to come and join me for a live video chat afterwards at the Discord, Easy 8 After Party. Forgot what it was called there. All the links to our platforms are all downstairs in the description of this video. If you want to come along and have a chat later on, that'd be really, really cool. If you're working on something, I would like to know about it. You can always subscribe to the show as well and show your support for the channel. Every time a subscriber subscribes to the channel, subscribes, an angel grows its wings. Or I get very happy and I shout it out and yeah, would love that. So if you know someone who is looking to make some friends and do some painting or anything hobby related really, get them to come along and subscribe to the show. That would be wonderful. This week I'm going to be carrying on with the project that I was working on last week. I've actually made some good progress on it. I was only spent a short period of time on it. But it's still good progress. I've blocked in all the yellow, something I wasn't planning on doing, but I popped up to my local Games Workshop store and I bought myself some contrast yellow like I said I was going to. Didn't realise there were so many contrast yellows. Picked the one that I was familiar with and it's okay. It's not an amazing thing, but it is still really good. I could see why people would use this to get through horde armies and I might consider that as its use. This, like I said, the whole point of this project was an experiment and you're welcome to come along with me on said journey to kind of tell me what you think about it as we go along. So yeah, let me know what you think of the techniques that I'm using. I'm just trying to stretch a little bit, just trying to push my comfort zone if you like and see what happens on the way. If you're working on anything when you're kind of stretching a little bit, if you're like pushing yourself to kind of develop, come and tell me all about it because that step in development, that kind of stepping away from what you know and rely on can be a very uncomfortable experience, but it's the way that we improve, it's the way that we develop as artists, as people, if you want to get all philosophical about it. Yeah, for years I've used my own techniques and I've changed a little bit over the years, but I thought I just want to do what I do. I want to get similar effects and I want to do it in a different way and see if the effects are different. You know what I'm trying to say. I just want to do it different, man. Stop judging me. Yeah, anyway, I hope you guys have been well this week. Who have we got in the live chat this week? We've got Jeff. Hi, Dad. Thanks for coming along, Dad. We've got Shiv from Table of Horrors. Hi, Shiv. How are you doing? We've got Crumb Studio as well. Is it just you guys at the moment? I think it is just you guys at the moment. There's no one else hiding away in there. There's a lot of comments going in. Working on a tactical squad tonight, says Table of Horrors. That's Shiv, by the way. Crumb says, painting green and gold. Gotta love a Plague Marine. Oh, I'd love to see that. That'd be great. Gotta love some Nurgle worshippers. Yeah, absolutely. Pox parties. Not into that. Nope, not into that at all. What's Jeff working on this evening? Has Jeff told us what he's working on? So many comments going in there. Oi, oi, oi. Hello, hello, hello. Well, it won't be getting any Blood Angels getting wings. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, maybe they would. If you subscribe, maybe a Blood Angel gets his wings. Who knows? Anyway, do you know what? Enough of that blabber. Let's get on to the workbench straight away and get on with my painting. Come on over. I'm so sorry. That was the cheesiest transition ever. That just came out. I didn't mean that. Come on over. Oh, that was terrible. I'm so sorry. Right, get myself comfortable. I'm a little out of sorts just coming straight into the studio. Had to fight with a boy cat outside who really wanted to come on in, but it's his dinner time and he wasn't allowed to come on in because he just created a fuss and he hissed at me. He got a smacked bum. Yeah, I told him to go away. I don't hit animals, it's okay, I just pushed him away. Sweet. So yeah, here is my Screamer-Killer. I love this model, it's so cool. Yes, the head doesn't really do things for me. It's a little bit on the weird side. It looks like it's got a bold man's head with a the hair bits on the side. But hopefully, as time goes on, that will look more and more like the armour parts of it. You can see that I've blocked in all the carapace. But the bits that I'm really interested in here are the yellow. Because the yellow it looks like it's got all this wonderful staining and washing, but that is literally just the effects of contrast paint. I did limb by limb, so I started on the arms and I just did the top of the arm, then the bottom of the arm, so the underside, and I just slapped a load on, and where it was pooling up I just used capillary action from my paintbrush and just lifted it off, leaving a little bit behind where I wanted it to. Now as I was painting it, I realised that actually on the backs of the arms, so these parts here, these bits are actually like armoured bits of the arms, so that's not all going to be yellow. In fact, it's only really this fleshy bit here in the bicep. So this little fleshy bit here and just here, that's going to be the yellow part on it. So it's not going to be so yellow, it's going to be a lot more black on him eventually. I did the head obviously and the chest, and then the legs and the tail, and then the abdomen came out really well. And when I first started painting yellow on these guys, I started using brown washes, and I tried to bring orange as a transition colour from where the carapace joined onto the skin parts, if you like, and it didn't work so well. You can just about see it. This has kind of done that for me, and I quite like that. However, it is still very basic, and I'm wondering that over time, if that changes a little bit, does it improve? I'm going to use oil washes on him to stain him later on to kind of bring in that sort of grim darkness on him later on. I'm not necessarily going for a deliberately going for a grim dark aesthetic. I just want to kind of grime him up a little bit, you know. I want to do a different type of washes on him. So yeah, and hopefully it does look a little bit grittier, to look a bit darker. So yeah, maybe that'll change, who knows. Now you'll see that on the backs of these two arms that the contrast between the yellow and the sort of shaded recessed areas looks a little different, and that's because I was trying out different washes on him. So I tried some crimson washes on him just to see how it affected that yellow. Interesting effect, not into it. And on this side here I tried volupus pink, which is another contrast, and it's a very powerful contrast. It's very strong, and it left me with this effect, and I didn't like it. It doesn't matter, I'm going to be going over them with black. That's why I chose those parts of the creature to do it. I just wanted to see how it made them yellow, and very clearly it doesn't just tint them, it quite literally changes the hue. So I'm not going to be doing that at all. I just was interested, you know, I was just farting about, if you like. Today I've got a little bit of effort to bring the black up to speed, if you like. So I've done one coat of black over the bits that you see that are already painted. So there's different sections of the thorax, abdomen. Is it thorax, abdomen? These bits. Got to do the bits on the legs, and I've got to do the arms and the head as well. And then I've got to make sure that it's all blocked in properly, so I'm not missing any edges. And I haven't been doing any undercrofts. One of the things that I wanted to do on the underside here, like it looks like a bit of a mushroom, doesn't it? I wanted to make sure that that it was still black underneath, but I wanted to see if I could bring some sort of pink flesh, or maybe yellow pinky flesh into it, to make it look like that it's almost a weak point, if you like, so that the skin's growing out and developing the armour on top of it, rather than just being a solid piece of armour. Because to me, makes no sense that would be a sticky out bit. You know what I mean? Like, why is it out? Yeah. So I want to make it look like it's skin growing into armour. Don't know how I'm going to do that yet. Also been putting a little bit of off-white onto the claws over here, and to the muscly bits that are on the wrists. I'm going to do that in between the elbows as well. Quite hard to see on my camera. I think the lights are flooding that out a bit, but maybe you can see that these bits here are all white, but the claws are kind of like an ivory colour, and that is yeah, to set the claws apart, basically. I was just doing that because I was just playing around with colours and getting excited. But this whole yellow thing probably took me about half an hour to do, just taking my time, enjoying a bit of music while I painted by myself. So contrast paints, maybe pick one up occasionally. Anyway, I've just noticed that we've got someone new going into the live chat there. We've got Patricia Benjamin. Hi Patricia Benjamin. Are you Patricia Benjamin, or are you two people by those two different names? I'd love to know. Finally cracked open my 9th edition starter box from my wall of shame, and I'm working on those Necron Fun Boys. Fantastic effort. I've not actually opened up any of the big launch boxes for Warhammer ever. I should imagine it's quite exciting, but also quite daunting, opening up one of those huge boxes and just seeing layers and layers and layers of models to get painted that I knew I never would. It's why I started this show. That's why I can never be a commission painter, says Crumbs. But you are good enough, mate. You are good enough to do it. So maybe a little side hustle, huh? Evening, Patricia. Howdy. Yeah, love that. And the live chat gets bigger. Wonderful. Thanks for coming along, mate. By the way, really appreciate that. Very little commission work is fun if you're on a deadline. Yeah, well, Jeff speaks from experience being a commission terrain builder, I suppose. It is very difficult, yeah. A spray can of silver and most of your Necrons are painted quick and sharp. I've pretty much got my 8th edition starter set painted well, primed at least. I'm doing a nice shiny bronze. Do you know, I experimented with a Necron colour scheme a little while ago, doing a dark silver, like a dark steel colour with a grim dark wash, and it changed them all bronzy colours. So it was really good. Yeah, I'd love to see it. And Benjamin is my family name. Oh, hi Patricia Benjamin. Cool. Cheers for the big up on my skills, Danny. It means a lot. It's totally deserved. You are a very good painter. I'd love to see more of it. If you want to see any of Crumbs' stuff, go and head over to Discord at the Easy 8 After Party, because he puts up pictures all the time over there. Anyway, look, it's the weekend. Cheers. Just had to wait long enough for the tea to be cool. I've also this time treated myself by bringing in a chocky bicky, so I'm going to munch and mumble while I talk to you. It's cold enough in the studio today to actually have chocolate. Anyway, what are you laughing at? Oh, that was good. Funny but food. Black for the carapace bit. I'm going to finish my biscuit before reading out the more live chat stuff. I thought it was funny. No, there's too much biscuit in my mouth. Cool. Unnecessarily added too much water to my black paint there. It's airbrush paint after all, don't actually need to add that much water to it. Sorry, what was the live chat saying? After these guys are done, I've got a Mantic Vermin Megaforce. I'm assuming I'm saying that right, Vermin, right? I'm going to run them as Gene Stealer Proxy Army and then call them my Cheese Stealers. That's funny. Is that a hobnob in your mouth? Or are you just pleased to see us? No comment on this family show. Just a chocolate digestive set. Cool. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start on this guy's face, on his head, because I'm a little bit bored of seeing this. I'm going to call it like a vicar's haircut. It just looks like a Friar Tuck haircut, doesn't it? Yeah, I've watered that down a bit too much. Oops. I'm just going to take my time. Also, again, still playing around with the studio setup and the position of the microphone. I'm trying to like paint like this. I want to make sure that it's coming through nice and clear. So if there's any issues, clarity, fidelity, do let me know. It's also making me lean slightly over to the left here. Let's pull that in a little bit. There we go. How's that? Blocking in. It's always a satisfying thing to do, because the miniature, in its state of unfinishedness, and having lots of areas that are still like exposed, prime or white, or even bits of grey maybe, always looks righteously unfinished and untidy. And untidy just bugs me. So we're blocking in as many colours as possible, getting all that done early doors. It's just nice to see. Brings the total state of the miniature to an acceptable point. very tired lately. I wonder if anybody else has been tired. I think I'm still, like I said at the beginning of the show, my voice is very clearly still recovering from the poorness I had a few weeks ago. And I'm one of those people that I can't even consider going to bed before 11 o'clock. I just can't do it. I'm just not that tired. And I'll sit in bed and it'll keep me awake longer than what I would have done if I'd stayed up and just like watched a bit of telly or read or whatever. Yesterday I got home. I was actually writing today's schedule on Facebook, creating that link, and I was falling asleep on my laptop. And over dinner, about 8 o'clock. It's quite late dinner to be fair. But yeah, I was falling asleep at the table doing it. And I knew that I still had to go into the kitchen and do all the dishes. That's my job in the evening. And I was really struggling, so I rushed into the kitchen after writing up the listing, the schedule for today, and then I was in bed by 9:45. That was very, very unlike me, and I've just been incredibly tired. I just wonder if there's a little something going around. Has everybody else been like tired, a bit poorly? Like, I generally hope not. Some more colours going in. Hear you loud and clear on my end, says Patricia. Francois Marion says a little salute. Love that. Thank you very much. Going back to the vermin, they're basically legally distinct from Space Skaven. what a cleverly worded sentence. I like that. Mount them on bikes. They could be biker mice from Mars, maybe. I love it. Yeah, hi Francois, nice of you to join us. Thanks very much for coming along. I hope you find a little bit of value. Anybody who's new watching the show, whether it be tonight or later on, I hope you find a little bit of value in the show, and it's just a little bit of company, perhaps a little bit of motivation, and hopefully entertaining. Like, I'm not the best host in the world, but it's about bringing people together. It's nice to be the reason that people come together, so I hope you find some worth in that. He says, crudely guzzling down some tea. A touch faint on my end. For the microphone, I do apologise. I can actually boost it a little bit. I will give a little bit of boost in the microphone and see if that's a problem for you. There's an extra almost 10%. How's that for you? Hopefully it comes across nice and clear. My upstairs, but besides that, very little. Don't know why I was saying that. If I missed something. Okay, cool. I like the music, I like the volume of the music, but you are a bit quiet compared to the music. Perhaps you could adjust the gain a bit. Yeah, there you go. Also, I just talk quietly. I'm a quiet person. So, yeah, sorry. I will sit and play with some filters on after the show and see if I can get some more gain boost or whatever in there. Some days I come in with like different levels of enthusiasm, and some are like, yeah, let's do this, and then people in the live chat are saying like, calm down, you're not painting very well. I appreciate the love and support. Thanks, guys. I can also just turn the flipping music down a little bit, right? Oh, look at that. Patricia Benjamin has just subscribed. Thank you so much for that. That really means the world to me. Thank you for subscribing. Every subscriber counts. It really goes such a long way, making this community grow. I'm not here to be famous. I'm not here to be like the next big YouTuber. But of course, if that happens, it's just because of you guys and the community. Yeah, I'm not one of those super pros that you see out there. I don't have that charisma. I don't have that skill or talent. It's just nice to bring people together. That's made my day, that has, by the way. Thank you very much. How did you find EC8? Did it just stumble across your feed one day? Did someone tell you about it? Did you see me out and about at a location? Did you have a poster of me on your bedroom wall and you think, God damn, I gotta go and join that guy's YouTube? I'd be a rubbish famous person. That being said, I do go to shows and people do recognise me. The fame is going to me. The power. I'm out of control. It has happened once or twice. Is that a Hornet scheme? Interesting. No, it's not. But I could see why you came to that conclusion. Normally my Tyranids are this sort of yellow, and they're normally grey on the carapaces. But I do like a gradient of colour, so black through the light grey, and kind of create that false sense of sort of cracked carapace. And I really like that. But what I'm trying to do now, rather than start with grey and then blend out to dark and then blend out to light, is I'm starting with a black and I'm just going to work my way out with some gradation all the way out to the highlight colour. So just a different technique, really. Just trying something different, just because well, you should try something different occasionally. It may take me a lot longer. It may be much easier and quicker. It may be the best thing since sliced bread. I may not like the appearance of it at all. But sometimes you just got to do something different. Actually struggling ever so slightly with the control of the brush today. That is just because I think I've had a bit of a demanding day physically. I'm going to paint all of that black underneath there, right? I've got to. Yeah, let's go in black. Cheers then. Yeah, just a bit of a physical day. And again, I'm still a little bit rough around the edges. I'm sure Jeff was just commenting on the fact that we've all had a bit of a bug, haven't we? I saw that a minute ago. Yeah, it's all the bug that we've had. Yeah, the sub-road to 1K and the fabled monetization. Yeah, I'm not here for the money, man. I'm here for the power. No, obviously, if it does start generating money, this show, and I've been going for nearly 5 years, by the way, and I'm only just over 200 subs, so it's not going to happen. But if it ever did, all that money would just go straight into just making this show bigger and better and bringing more people into it, you know. I'm one of those guys that's got the dream job, you know, like I don't want to give up my day job to settle on a career on YouTube. I don't think that this style of show has that longevity. I don't think everyone wants to see me every day. So it's not like I'm gonna go and give up my day job and pursue the YouTube experience. I love what I do. And I'm very fortunate that I have a job that I'm very passionate about. And wonderful colleagues as well. Can't leave those guys behind. Oh, that is far too much paint on my brush. Sort that out. Loads of comments going in. See if I can shake a little premium dust on you. Thank you so much. New sub, let the cats in. I'm going to let the cats in when they start behaving, because he was hissing at me. He's not allowed to hiss at me. That's not okay. I don't hiss at him. I was searching for a live hobby painting and you popped up. Was it Crime Watch? Hey, behave yourself. Probably was. No offense intended. Cruising stream seems so much nicer than docking. I'm too American to understand. I think that's a good thing in this instance. Yeah, it definitely is, mate. It really is. We're gonna leave that well alone. We keep it clean on the YouTube, and then the shirt sleeves get rolled up for Discord. So if you want to find out what they meant, that could be the time for you if you like. Urban Dictionary is your friend. Does it look like that the armour goes over or around his eyes? It looks like it does, doesn't it? I'm going to avoid doing that for a second. I want to see what it's like if I take the black part of his carapace up to the edge of his brow. Like that. So the yellow comes up around the sides. But it does look like that is all one piece here. If I bring it into focus, maybe you can see it a bit better. Yeah. Oh, the autofocus is going crazy with those arms. Let me just ask one thing. Is it something like Emperor's Children Army would be interested in? Very much so. Very much agree with Crumbs there, yeah. Yep. Yep. See what you've done, Crumbs? You've stained the live chat with your talk. It's all good, mate. It's all fun. It's all funny. So what is Francois working on this evening? We know that Patricia is working on some vermin, and or not some vermin, something else, and then moving on to vermin. But Francois, are you working on a project this evening? Painting black is really quite difficult sometimes because you can't necessarily see so easily how well your brushstrokes are coating that area, because it wants to reflect all the light or absorb all the light, and then where it's shiny, where it's still wet paint, it's still really shiny. So a mixture of hiding shadows and reflecting light is quite difficult. I have to wait for it to dry a little bit before I can go back in. Okay, we can see some characters starting to come out now, can't we? Got some edges to enhance a little bit. Might need to get a slightly smaller brush. Okay, that's cool. I like that. Right, what am I going to do next? I think I just want to get these arms done. I'm going to clean my brush out a little bit. I want to get these arms done. I want to see how they look, because at the moment they're quite yellow. They've got a lot of yellow on them, and they're not going to be so yellow, basically. I also want to hide those little test bits where I was painting different filters and things on them. Just kind of interested to get rid of that. Now we've got a little bit of carapace on that, which is very, very bright, and there's a lot of white here being quite reflective. If I do that and hide it a bit, you can see there's like a big pile of carapace on the back of the claws. There's also this big bundle of mess in here, which I think is supposed to be like a big chunk of like muscle fibre, sinew or whatever, tendons and things, which will all be pinkified. And then there's the big claw that sticks out, which you can see is a slightly ivory colour at the moment. So yeah. There's lots of different colours to go in. And even though this guy's quite a big guy, lots of small details. Just making sure that I take my time getting them all painted nice and neatly and evenly. It's going to be quite a table centrepiece, this one, so I want him to stand out and be nice, obviously. See, there's going to be a lot of armour on him. He's very predominantly yellow at the moment, but I think in the end there's going to be a lot more black on him. I like the idea of him being like a hornet colour there. That's kind of cool, right? Francois says, I'm working on an Imperial House War Griffin Knight Castigator with gold, non-metallic metal trim. That sounds intense, man. pictures or it never happened, please. Take photos and put them up on Facebook if you want to, if you're on Facebook, or you can use Discord as well. There's loads of channels for sharing ideas, thoughts, plans, photos, etc. on Discord, whichever is your poison of choice. Would love to see it. Non-metallic metals is that is some like seriously cool work. I'm not at that level yet. I'm just exploring really lately with OSL. And I've had some interesting results. I've certainly gotten better at it. I'm still not where I want to be exactly with it. And there's a lot of different methods to kind of get there as well, and there's only a couple that really styles that I really like. I do get very fussy, very fussy. Very shaky. And now I'm going to have to come back and neaten that up in a bit. That's okay. Some days I'm shaky, some days I'm not. Just having fun. Love it. Starting to come together, isn't it? I like it. I'm really looking forward to trying the grey highlights thing as well. I really like my old technique. It's just a little bit long. In fact, to be fair, what I plan to do is probably going to lengthen the time it takes to get similar results. But I think that the technique might lend to a different look at the end of it. What's your Facebook? There are links to all of Easy 8's platforms just down in the description of the video if you like. So we got Facebook, YouTube, Instagram and Discord, and then there's a whole host of links to different people and places that I just really like. And if you want to go and check them out, I'm sure that they would love the love that you would give them. So go and have a little look, and if you've got any problems, I'm sure the guys in the live chat will be able to kind of put up a link or direct you in the right way. The other project on my desk is a 6 kit bashed Risen Lions Guard. Ooh, I don't know that. Is that Dark Angels? Is that 40k, or am I thinking something different? Easy 8 OPC Instagram as well as for Easy 8. Oh, thanks, mate. Cheers. It's my public relations department. They're hard at work. It's my first time trying gold non-metal metallics, but I'm happy with it for a first attempt. That's so cool. Love that. I'm Gen X, and the Pink Army is what interested me in 40k. The Pink Army just happened to be the Emperor's children. Lucius the Eternal was my first foray into 40k lore. I may have started in the deep end. You have started in the deep end, but you know what? I love a deep end plunge. That's good for you. Most of us here are Gen X. We are. We are. I'm actually on the cusp of millennial, so I am a millennial. I'm a 1981 boy, and I think that puts me 2 years solidly into millennial, but I classify myself as a Gen X because I grew up with Gen X values. But you are who you are, right? I don't really read into all of that sort of stuff. You like what you like. Some tricky angles in here. Staff joined us. Hi all. Hi Staff, hope you're feeling better, mate. I know that you've not been feeling very well. I hope you're doing much better. Yes, Dark Angels, 40k, Dark Angels, Blade Guard, Veteran Body, Gospel for the Line. Yes, I thought that's what we were talking about. I'm a little unsure around the whole newer Space Marine launches and the Dark Angels specifically. I do like them though. Still a noob at the game though. Haven't played more than 1k. And since the Leviathan box came out, my first 2k game is tomorrow. 2,000 points of pink chaotic death. Do you know what? The very best of luck to you. I hope you have a good time. I've only played one game of 10th edition and I wasn't really sold on it. And that doesn't mean that my enthusiasm or passion for 40k has diminished. It was always my first War Games love. I will never stop collecting or playing Warhammer 40,000. My heart was really in it around about 8th and 9th, although 6th really started to take it in the right direction. Things started to turn in a better direction at that point, because it had changed wildly from 2nd and 3rd, and then there was 4th and 5th, and I didn't like 5th at all. I can't really remember why. I just remember not enjoying it. It was a long time ago, man. My memory isn't what it used to be. 2nd edition is great for nostalgia, but I remember it being a real slog. So something had to change back in 2nd edition, and I thought that 8th and 9th had hit all those nostalgic points, done a really good job of trying to bring it all back, but just really refining it, condensing a lot of the unnecessary rules guff. But 10th edition, I think, is taking it too much into the direction of a tournament game, and that is okay. You're absolutely allowed to do that. It's their IP, man. They can do with what they want. I'm not going to sit here and argue about that. I'm not a tournament player. I've played some friendly tournaments at home. I've actually run them, and that's all fun. But I'm not one of those guys that goes to like proper licensed tournament venues. That's how you like to play. That is absolutely fine. I'm a narrative player. I like to create little stories when we're doing it. I like to talk about where we're fighting, what we're fighting over, who we're fighting. Is there a character in there? Some great stories over the years. The same ones keep on coming back up as well, and I love that. And I did get my butt handed to me in that game, 10th edition as well. Like I really did. And I'm not being a sore loser. Like the person who beat me fair and square. That's fine. It's just not how I enjoy it. Struggling to get the paint where I wanted it to go there. It's going to be one of those long, slow processes. Once I've got all this covered, I've got to just kind of get underneath the undersides of everything, make sure that I'm taking the colour right up to the edges. So that's the second pass over it all. which hopefully shouldn't take as long as getting this colour mostly blocked in. On that second pass I will go back over and just do a quick second coat on those areas that generally need it. I don't know why I'm doing a second coat on that top arm. That is very ADHD of me. That is one of my main problems. Don't really focus on the here and now. Fupa scoop? I don't know. I don't like that. The way that I like the way it sounds, but I don't like the way it sounds. It's just wrong. Play catch up in the comments. Driving away, looking at a plasterer's radio. Had me giggling too much. No, I'm just not going to comment because I don't know what we're talking about anymore, and I know what we have spoken about, and I just don't want to go back to that. It's funny, isn't it? If you want more of a deep dive into the Emperor's Children, the Horus Heresy book, Fulgrim, number 5 in the series. Yeah, do you know what? That all of those books generally are really good. I've also been listening to the YouTube channel The Amber King, and it's an audio narrative of all of the lore compiled and condensed and turned into a narrative and voice acted, and the voice acting is superior to a lot of other things. Go and check out The Amber King. It's really good, and if you want a good solid first run, just listen to the 3-hour epic of Roboute Guilliman. Really good, and that will sell that channel to you. Amber King, if you're listening, solid mate, well done. It's a great way of catching up on a lot of the lore that has gone on, because over the last couple of years I've been focused on life and work and things, and I haven't been able to keep up with it so much. I feel quite old in that respect. And it's nice to know that not only have just these models come out, but here's the reason for why they've come out in the lore. You know, I like that. Kez has joined us. Hi Kez, thanks for coming along, mate. Hope you're doing well. Haven't seen you for a little while. Getting better, Danny. Thanks. No longer shivering, so progress. Glad to hear it, mate. Glad to hear it. I was very poorly a couple of weeks ago. Wasn't able to run the show. Didn't have the shivers, didn't have a fever, but I was pretty gross, if I do say so myself. It was fatigue. It was like a mild flu, and the fatigue was just too much to bear. Bit of a sore throat and headaches that went along with it. It was pretty crappy. I'm fairly certain it was COVID. Stafford, are you feeling well enough today to be working anything? You're working on a project, or you're just sitting there with the chilling with the chills? I've got that right in the bit that I didn't want to colour. I need to clean the brush. Always keep your brushes clean, guys. Looks like the wife wants to go explore gaming stores in town we haven't been to before. Have a great night, day, guys. Thanks very much for coming on, Patricia. Thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate that. Take care of yourself and watch the rest back on replay if you want to. See you next week, if not before. Cheers. Toodles. Slowly building my 135th Panzer IV. You like the building side of it, don't you? Take your time, have fun with it, because it's really nice to explore a bigger build. Trying to really take my time with this creature as well, because it's very easy to want to rush things on the live stream, just in the interest of having some sort of visual progression, so you guys aren't sitting there watching the same old thing. But I'm here painting my stuff too. It's not about the show, it's about the hobby. So it's very, very tempting to want to rush, and I do rush a lot. I'm trying to, as part of this project, just take my time. There's a little bit there that's so hidden away and in the shadow I can't quite work out how to get into where I want to paint it. Cool. Taking me a little bit longer than I thought it would, but I'm okay with this speed actually. Okay, that's 2 arms and the head done. It's good progress so far, isn't it? I think. What do you guys think? Just clean my brush by wiping it on his arm there. Just wiping the remainder out of my brush really, rather than getting painting on that one there. Right. How much paint have I got left in the palette? Not loads. Maybe enough just to get the top of his arm done here. actually quite a tricky model to hold. Again, black, really hard to see in the palette. How much have I got in there? Oh, a slight tremble. Just painting it ever so neatly. Just by the edge of that little bit that I didn't want to get any paint in. My brush went, oh, I hate that. Do you know what? I'm going to clean the whole brush out. I'm going to go for a break. I think I just need to have a quick pause from the table for a minute. Come back in, load up with some fresh paint. Still need to get some brush soap, man. I haven't gone and done that yet. Need to get some brush soap. I ran out ages and ages ago, and I had that stuff from Green Stuff World, and it looks like it comes in a same bottle size as this one. I got repair gel and clean at the same time. It's like a little yellow liquid, looks a little bit like that, and you just treat it like a liquid soap. But you can get the that looks like a gentleman's barber's sort of hair pomade tin. You know the one I'm talking about. I can't remember what it's called. I've got it in my Amazon wish list. It's like £8 for a bar, and it's going to last me years, and I should just get it. And I just so ADHD. It's like decision paralysis. Why are the clothes on the floor of my bedroom? I know I can just put them away, and I just don't for ages and ages and ages. Why aren't I buying that Amazon thing? Like, I don't know. It's there. I should just go ahead and do it and clean my brushes. Anybody else struggle with stuff like that? Terrible for it. Absolutely terrible. The Master Soap. Thank you so much. I've heard really good things about it. And I'm assuming that because it was a bar, it will generally last longer. That's where when I was using a liquid, I'd pour like a little blob out on the table and sit there and scrub the bristles in that. But because you're pouring it, you don't have as much control over how much soap that you have. So yeah, I don't know. It makes me think that it would last long. Has anybody else used it? Shiv, have you used the Master Soap before? Do you use it now? If you do, or if you have, does it last like a really long time? Do you get a lot? And buy a Wasomatic. If I'm gonna buy a Wasomatic, it's gotta be a better one. So the one that I had in the past, and it's like £100, man. Like it's not a cheap investment. I want to improve this camera here, so that you can see here better and have faster autofocus. So yeah, I mean, feel free to give me some money or buy me a new Wasomatic, but not right now, man. Anyway, I use it. Good stuff. Lasts a long time. Cheap price. I should just buy it, right? I should just buy it. I'm not going to buy brushes for years, says Jeff. The last time I went into your studio, you had a big, filthy pot filled with big brushes, because you're a terrain builder, I suppose. And you had like water that was in there that had been there for ages, and all these brushes going into it, and it was very smelly. Yeah. Stafford says, shut up and buy a Wasomatic. All right, maybe I should just do that. Okay, my night working product is in your Facebook DMs. I'd love to see that. Thank you so much. If it's in my DMs, not on the public one, do you mind if I go in there and put it onto the public forum? Or if it's on the public forum, yay! That'd be great to see. Thank you so much. Anyway, we're going to have a 10-minute break. Yup, yeah, it was smelly water. Going to have a quick 10-minute break. A quick 10 minutes, slightly quicker than a long 10 minutes. And I'm going to come back and carry on some painting. Shut up and go and change your paint water. Ugh. Welcome back. Hope you had a good break. I went and got myself a grown-up juice because it's that time of the week where it's not the week, it's the weekend, and some of us don't have to work the next day, and that's me, and I'm very happy about it. Cheers, everybody. Happy Friday. I also have a special guest on this week's show, something I don't always do. He's in the studio with me. He came and apologised and was very nice, and now he's just rummaging around some boxes in the corner of the studio, so you might see in a minute black and white cat jumping around. So yeah, he's well happy. So yeah, Dax is furrowing around somewhere in the studio. Perhaps you'll see him, perhaps not. You probably will. He's probably going to jump up on the desk at some point today. Cool. Hope you're having a good evening so far. If you're working on a project, come and tell me all about it. Take some photos, stick them up on Facebook, put them up on Discord if you want to. And don't forget that all the links to all of our platforms are just down there in the description. Excuse me, that's the vodka and coke coming back up. In the description of this video. I would love to know what it is that you're working on this evening. So come and tell us all about it in the live chat. I am continuing working on a blocking in the black on this Screamer-Killer, and it's just a little bit fiddlier than I expected it to be. Nothing too much. I'm enjoying myself. Just taking the time, putting those colours in place. And I've got to make a second pass on it, because the colour isn't completely opaque, and I would like it to be. Oh, told you, still practising with this microphone, bumping into it. Yeah, I'd like it to be opaque, and I've still got to go around and neaten up all the edges. Anyway, so yeah, just enjoying the flow. Now, what I hope to do is between now and next week's show is that I would have all of the black at the very least all blocked in. Oh, that's a fiddly bit. So that I can start on the grey part of that process. Normally I'm doing grey on this bit because I would start off in a middle tone of grey, and then I would do like a layer of black right up right up against the edges of where like multiple armoured plates would meet, and then I would work out to highlights towards the edges of those armoured plates. But yeah, I'm trying something a bit different. This whole process might take a little bit longer. I'm hoping it'll be quicker. Yeah. Tummy rub to Dax's. Yeah, Dax is... can you see him? Can you see him? He's right here. Hey boy. We don't do tummy rubs on Dax. It's a great way of losing a vein or two. He loves a head rub. His sister, Binka, she's downstairs chilling out. She loves a tummy rub. She loves a tummy rub. This guy gets a bit ticklish, doesn't like it, and he will like whine at you if you do that. And then you might get opened up like a tin of beans, so you've got to be very careful. You okay down there, boy? He's looking very happy now that he's just chilling out in the studio. Oh, I'm still having a shaky evening. Anyway, if you do like what we do here on the show, please don't forget to subscribe. We've had a new subscriber on this evening. I am absolutely over the moon with that. Thank you so much. We've got new viewers and new listeners in the live chat. Welcome all. Welcome everybody. Thanks for coming along and seeing what we're all about. And if you like what we do, spread the word. If you like what we do, subscribe to the show, because it makes the community grow. And the community is all about you. It is you. And we all share a love and a passion for the same hobby. And it's just nice to connect people and bring people together, and that's what this show is all about. So yeah, if you're so inclined, please do subscribe, because it helps change the algorithm. It gets it out there. All hail the algorithm. Gets Easy8's name out there. So if you do like what we do, hit that button that says subscribe. And that's enough of Mitch just looking at my face. Let's take you guys back over to the workbench. See you in a second. And just as we changed, here he is. You alright, mate? Where are we going? Don't step in the paint. Don't step in the paint. Oh dear. Please don't eat the gene stealers. Please don't eat the Mars guys. Don't lick plastic. Say hello to the world. Yep, knock that over. That's great. Eat that. Wonderful. Kez says, I can still not decide if I like how my Resin Union dropship came out, or if I should redo it. Please don't eat the paintbrushes. Please don't eat the paintbrushes. Thanks, mate. Photos, Kez, I suppose. Put it up to public debate and see what all the followers and the community say about it. Maybe they'll be able to help you make a decision. Maybe they'll be able to give you their thoughts. Please don't eat that. Or just carry on eating it. That's great. Move the microphone. Wonderful. You alright? John's joined us. Hi John from Out of This World Molly's Money's. Don't drink the paint water. Hi all. As always, on Friday I'm at work. I'll check out the full show when I get home, John. Thanks very much for coming along again, John. I hope you're doing well. We haven't connected for ages, apart from just saying hello occasionally on each other's shows. I hope you're doing well, pal. I miss our conversations. October's coming up. Maybe we should do something again if you're interested. But thanks for coming along and watching the show. You going to walk in behind everything? Yep. See you later, mate. Chew the nids, Dax. Chew the nids. Yeah, he was at the Gene Stealer there. I had a Gene Stealer on the side for colour reference. You alright, peekaboo? His head just popped up behind the paint rack. You alright, mate? You okay? Have a little wander around, pal. Just don't eat anything, please. Or fight anything. Or jump up there. I can't trust him. This is why I don't let them in all the time. You can just settle down there, mate, if you want to. Have a little nap. Yeah? If you find like a permanent location where you're happy just to sit down, I'm talking to you like you're a human being. I love that. If you find yourself a little place, like I'll bring you up a little bed, and I'll put a little camera on you, and then the world just gets to see you. How'd you like that? Just put your bum in the world's camera, yeah? How ironic the Tyranids get consumed. Yeah, him and his sister, they're terrible for it. They do like to eat miniatures. Can I put my microphone back? Is that alright? Thanks, mate. Your paint's dried in my brush now, Dax. Just because I'm moving the paintbrush in the water doesn't mean you need to come over and sort that out. Paintbrush? Bit of paint? You can't have that. You can't have that. Right. Let's get this done. Just staring at you guys. Knock it all over, mate, yeah? Yeah, cheers, pal. He is one of those cats that fights the TV as well. So he's watching that ticker tape scroller at the top where it says subscribe. And he was getting a little bit interested in that, wasn't he, mate? Just going to show everybody your butt again? I can't even read the live chat from here, pal. What are you up to? Him and his sister used to be not very well behaved when they first let them into the studio. Go around causing a lot of destruction and eating things and just generally being a bit of a pain in the backside. So there was a bit of a perma ban on them. They weren't allowed in. That made them sad. And occasionally I'd let them back in, and then they go and behave for a little while, and then they go and ruin it for themselves and get themselves banned again. But lately they've been coming in and just sitting down and chilling out with me, and that's really quite nice. Animals, dogs, cats, or whatever animal you've got as a companion in your household, they bring us so much company. It's certainly worth having them around. I don't have children. I wonder if having children is a similar thing. But there's many parents out there with young children thinking, no. But yeah, sometimes it's just nice to be sat in the studio, a bit of music on in the background, cat beside me just sitting and chilling out. It's quite nice. Do any of you guys have animals to keep you company in your painting areas? painting company cat or a painting company dog. Do you have an exotic animal to keep you company? The ADHD bug is starting to affect me now. I'm starting to paint a little bit, move on to a little bit, move on to a little bit, go over here and realise I've missed all of these other areas that I definitely need to hit. So I need to kind of zone back in, focus on it, not worry too much about what's going on around me, not worry about rushing it for the sake of the show, not worrying about what Dax is eating in the corner of the room, unless it's expensive, and just zone back in for a second. Lord Inquisitor, doggo farts a lot, doesn't get on my desk or chew up stuff. Yeah, Dax does fart and does get off of my desk and does eat a lot of things. But he is a charming boy. Oops. Right. One last little line to paint here. The sound of my concentration voice there. Hard at work. Lush. That's the third of 4 arms done. Now there's still a lot of neatening up to do. There's still a lot of neatening up some of these lines where they merge up against the edges of the skin, and obviously there's the opacity of it. I'm definitely going to make a second pass. I'm definitely going to hit that and make everything look much neater. So I'm not really worried about those bits that I've missed, so to speak. Quick swig of the old drink. Oh, strong, but not too strong. Table of Horror says, oh, Kez says, I am all alone. I'm so sad for you. Let's get you a little painting company cat, or something that doesn't require so much looking after and monitoring, etc. Maybe let's get you like a horned dragon, or a bearded dragon, sorry, or a little chameleon. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Dax is just chilling out on the floor. You're never alone when you're with Easy 8, Kez. That's so nice, isn't it? Children are great. It's always handy to have someone with compatible organs nearby. Dark, but accurate. Yes. Yes. And yes. I think I need to clean my brush out. Not working so smoothly. Do you have access to root beer? It's much better with vodka than other sodas. Doesn't go flat from the booze. I'm sure we do have access to root beer, and do you know, I've never ever tried it, so perhaps I'll have a little look. I enjoy mine with Coke Zero. I like Coca-Cola as a mixer. I'm not a big soft drinks drinker. I'll have the occasional sip here and there, like as a bit of a refreshing taste occasionally. But otherwise I try to avoid the stuff. But as an alternative to a mixer, I always have like a big case of Coke Zero in the house for vodka. Not a huge drinker. So perhaps I'll give that a try instead. What is the flavour of root beer? That's my question to you. Is it available in this country? What country, may I ask, do you come from? Is it easier to get in your country than it is in mine if it is not so available in my country? I'm in the southwest of the UK. All the way down in the Shire, in Hobbiton. Dirt. Have you considered sarsaparilla? I don't know what that is. And simply no. I like vodka. It's got a nice bite to it. It's not that harsh like a whiskey can be. It's a very clean drink, and I've never had a rough night because of it. I really enjoy wine. Like, I'm a big wine snob, and I will drink red wine until the cows come home. But I can only have about 2 or 3, and regardless if I get drunk or whatever, I'll wake up in the morning and I'll have a hangover regardless. And yeah, not a fan of that. Like, I'm not drinking to get drunk. I'm drinking because I enjoy the flavour. I enjoy the accompaniment to my meal or whatever, or as a social thing. And I'll have 3 glasses over a long period of time, and it'll just dry my head out horribly. Ale, I love ale. I love a golden ale. But that can really upset my stomach because I'm a bit of a delicate boy, I suppose. So I've got to be really careful about what I drink. Vodka, love it. Good stuff, but I'll drink good quality vodka. I won't drink any of that cheap stuff. And when I say cheap, I do mean like dollar store style. I'm a free man, and yes, root beer is very common in America. Okay, cool. I mean, I've heard it, the name a lot on media, TV, and things like that. I just don't think I've ever come across it, and I wonder if we can get it here in the UK. Do you know what? If John, if you're still watching, or if you're watching back on the replay, John is in the States, and so a slightly long story. I was using a tool, and I said it was a bit like Marmite. John, being an Anglophile, said that he knows of Marmite, but has never tried it. Now, the thing with Marmite, it's a spread. You put it on your toast or on your sandwiches. It's very, very treacly, for those of you that don't know. And it is a love it or hate it kind of a flavour, and that's the motto that it's sold by. Either you love it or you hate it, and people generally do. You don't really find many middle grounders. People either really, really like it or they really, really hate it. I personally absolutely love the stuff. I could eat it off a spoon. Yum, yum, yum. So we were talking about it with John, and I said, I'll tell you what, John, as a challenge on one of your videos, which are all recorded, I live stream, he records. I said, I challenge you to find yourself some, and to do a little challenge where you eat it on a video. And he did. He went and bought it. He got it from Amazon. Amazon sells everything, doesn't it? And he got it delivered to him, and he tried it. The quantity's under my recommendation because it can be very strong. It's very easy to overdo it. You don't want to be piling it on like jam onto your toast. Recorded a little video. You should go back and try and find it. Perhaps, John, if you're watching right now, you could attach a little link to that video, perhaps in the comment section to this video once it's all uploaded and saved, etc. That'd be brilliant. I won't tell you whether John hated it or loved it, but I'll save the reaction for you so you can go spoiler free. Perhaps as a way of returning, I'll do a little video drinking root beer. Because it is an American thing, it is an American drink, isn't it? Bundesberg, it's in Tesco, and that's a root beer. Brilliant, there we go. We can get A&W root beer over here. A&W? A&W, is that a brand name? Or am I missing something? Wow, comments are going on. 2 or 3 bottles or glasses. I have been known to drink quite a lot of the old red wine on time to time. Drink responsibly, kids. Don't be a douche. But yes, I like to have a little soiree at my property every New Year. And I invite friends over. My partner obviously is here, the cats. We'll play games until the wee hours of the morning. A couple of years ago, not last year, I learned my lesson, I drank 5 bottles of red wine to myself. It was a good party. I was enjoying myself. At no point did I feel out of control. I was getting very tired. I went to bed and I woke up with a head that said, you deserve a hangover, but I'm going to give you just a hint. And I learned my lesson. But it wasn't all dayer. It wasn't all dayer. Don't drink to get drunk. A beer buzz, for sure. A beer buzz, for sure. Enjoy the company of your friends. Incite a giggle, perhaps. I'm too old for hangovers. I'm too old for misdemeanors. Don't enjoy being drunk. A nightcap, perhaps. Bit. Bundesberg is Tesco's. Barks, it's the best for mixing in my opinion. Okay, all good advice. I'll have a little look, see what I can find. Apart from dirt though, no one has really told me what it tastes like. What is the flavour? What roots does this thing come from? Is it a fermented vegetable? Surely that's what vodka is, right? Oh, and then there's sake. Oh, I love that stuff. taking a little bit of concentration. I apologise for being so quiet. I do like a drink that you can use to fuel a tank. Cheers to that. So no pictures or it didn't happen, but you're not going to look at the pics. Do you know what? I will stop right now. I'll go and have a little look at the pictures for you. Give me a little chance to focus, refocus. Go and have a little look and see what's happening. Unlock my phone, which I won't use my password on air, of course. We'll get rid of the news headlines. Facebook isn't working properly. Let's reload that. There we go. It's just loading. Got the little swirly swell. Ah, here we go. That's a beast of a model, isn't it? I'm a little proud of my first gold NMN, but it is a work in progress. Do you know what? I don't think that you should ever apologise for art. I don't think you should ever apologise for it being your first go or your 100th go or whatever. Everyone starts somewhere, and this is an incredible good start there. So just a beast of a model, isn't it? I also like the fact that you kind of got this mottled marble effect on the back. Is that a deliberate thing, or is that like an artifact of just a technique that you're doing and you'll get rid of? But I really like the look at that at the moment. It's a huge model, isn't it? I really like that. Some freehand stuff down on the bottom down there on the shin. That's very cool. I like that as well. Oh, I see more of the marbled mottled effects down here on that shin. Therefore, I'm thinking that is a deliberate move. It's a very striking yellow you've got there as well. Some shiny looking NMN. I'm into that. That's very cool. Oh, and there it doesn't look so shiny. So that's a really good effort you've done there as well. That's incredible. Good work. What colours are you using here? Obviously, I can see some browns. I'm very rubbish at identifying colours by eye. Like I can see there's like what looks like a beige sort of a colour or an off-white, and there's some brown in there. Using streaks to achieve that, of course. That's very cool. I'm sorry that I'm on my phone at a bit of an angle. Normally, if I was loading up people's images prior to a show, I'd actually have them coming up on the screen. So I hold my phone at a bit of an angle. You get my studio lights in there, the reflection of my lovely little camera. So if I hold it a bit of an angle like that, hopefully you guys can generally see it. And I will post these up on Facebook proper just after the show. I'll be doing it over on Discord, so that everybody else can go and have a little look at it as well. It's a really clever effect. It's a really good effect that you've got down here that really is working, because it looks like little light streaks going across. That's really cool. And I bet that model is a good 18 inches tall, right? Very cool. Interesting choice of colour for the sword there as well. I like that. It stands out against the colder tones of the rest of the model. The blue, the grey, quite cold, warm, quite cold colours. The two weapons there using warmer colours makes it stand out a little bit as well. Are you going to do any sort of power effects and things on that sword? Are you going to do like a lightning effect or an electricity effect, like maybe a bit of a glow? Because that will make it stand out quite a bit. I like to draw the viewer's eye to a weapon or to a face, because that's where the character is in terms of the face, and that's where, well, the business end of the wargaming miniature, isn't it? Is the weapon, be it a gun or a sword, etc. So I'd love to see if you were going to do some sort of a power effect on that. Of course, if you're not going to do that, that's absolutely your choice. Just wondering. Yeah, I like that. It's a big beast, isn't it? 15 inches. I see you've written in the live chat. That's cool. You've obviously got some terrain on the base there as well. Does that come as a part of that miniature, or is that stuff that you've added into it? It's been a long time since I've seen this miniature. Is it a Forge World miniature? Or is it a Forge World miniature that has come to life in Games Workshop? I can see you've got a Forge World miniature box in the back there. So definitely a fan of Forge World. They did make some really good designs. Resin's very different to work with than plastic is, but generally I'm very impressed with that. That's all very, very cool. Well done. I will. I'll put those up on Facebook a little later on if you're still happy for me to do so. Just OSL off the sword, that I think would just be perfect. I think that would look really good. And of course, you'll have a little bit of reflection across the rest of the miniature. I say miniature, it's enormous, but you have a nice reflection that bounces around on the miniature, which will really draw focus to that sword as well. I made the base, the barricade on the base is Forge World. Cool, that's really good. Some other comments that are going in there. I saw the password. It's really easy. Just a few asterisks. Yeah, there was no passwords on it. It's all fine. Interesting. A company just announced a Kickstarter for a Discworld tabletop RPG next month. Do you know what? We'll talk about that a little bit later on, because I ran a tabletop RPG the other day. First time I've run one for about 12 months, maybe longer. I had a good time doing it as well. Apple Barrel, if they work, they work. Apple Barrel? Apple Barrel? Am I missing something? Apple Barrel? I know you're making a joke and I'm just stupid and I don't get it. Sometimes you have to tell me the humour that I need to invoke. I'm so sorry. It's a live show as well, so it's not like I can hide that with editing and just hide how stupid I am. Sure, go ahead. Thanks very much. No, I think people would really like to see that and it'd be really cool. And of course, I will credit the artist. Right. Thank you for sharing your work. Back in to painting black. What time are we at? Nearly, well, just gone 22. Look at that, lovely. The arms are taking a bit of time, a bit of effort is going into painting these, and that's fine, that's okay. I'm enjoying it, it's good. But sometimes you just want to get things done faster, don't you? And you hope that you get things done fast. But you just got to slow down, not rush. I'm terrible for it. I wanted to go back over this bit because it wasn't very opaque at all. I think when I was doing this last week I added a bit too much water and just carried on anyway. Nope, I'm going to need some more paint in that palette. I'm also going to use a smaller brush. Apple Barrel are $50 paints. 50 cent paints. Apple Barrel is a craft paint brand, but they work as far as I know. Eons of Battle painted some stuff up using them. I've never heard of them. Did I miss a comment that was talking about Apple Barrel? I did. Apple Barrel paints for this, actually. Excellent. Right, let's change paintbrush. I'm going to move to a slightly smaller grade. I was using my 1 size. I'm going to move down to my 0. Just like to wet the brush a little bit. Helps hold the paint, helps transfer the paint a little bit. Supples up them bristles. Let's get some paint in there, shall we? Ooh, missing out on the live chat there. There we go. As far as I know, Eons of Battle paints I'm using. It's funny, isn't it, how like loads of people know about that, but I've never heard of them. I wonder if I have and I'm just forgetting about them. You know what I'm like. I understand now that Kez wasn't necessarily making a joke about something that I didn't read. I just was being stupid. Sorry guys, I'm a terrible host. I'm a terrible friend. But like every week, at least it's recorded live on air. so that everybody can see it forever and ever. Do you know what? You see it sometimes on memes on the internet, don't you? Like, I'm so glad that I wasn't that smartphones and social media wasn't around when I was a kid to record all the silly stuff that I've said and done. Here I am willingly as an adult putting myself through all of that, of course. Oh, I slipped then. That was very nearly a disaster. Little areas like this on the tail. My screen's gone very small. Let me increase that. This little area here on the tail, we've got this area of yellow, and then there's this streak of orange. That to me is magnificent, and that is a feature just from contrast paints. I didn't draw that. That has turned out better than if I ever drew it. If I was to like paint that whole area yellow and get a streak of orange on my paintbrush and go oop like that, it wouldn't look like that, and that looks really good. On the screen, it just looks like a little orange line. I get it, but in front of my face, it looks very comic booky, and I'm really into it. I dig that. And yeah, if I tried to paint that, like, the best things come out of accidents sometimes, don't they? Got a rogue bristle on this brush. That's not what I want. Oh, my cat would like to leave the room, everybody. Bear with me a second. You want to go, Coy? Do you? Go on. So sorry. It's being quite well behaved. I usually just undercoat with them, but the NMM is a lot of mixing of paint and making glazes, which the apple barrel is good for. Oh, okay. Is it a well-known, good quality paint brand? Or is it like one of those cheaper art store brands that just has some accidentally really good qualities and properties that you can utilise in some certain ways? I don't think my dad, Jeff, in the live chat has used expensive miniatures paints for millions of years. Just uses house paints. Goes and buys like testers and things, don't you? Or if you've got past that now and just using big buckets of it. Because the volumes that you're getting through require you to buy such large tubs. Insane amounts of paint. Cheap craft store garbage, but it's actually good stuff. Love that. Nothing's truly garbage, is it? If it's got some value, if it's got some worth. Use what you got. Right, arms are done. I've gone and done that silly thing. I've just painted them and put my finger in. What a wally. Right, make sure that's dry, please. Arms are done, the bottom of the back part is done. Moving on to this chest piece here. Get a bit close and fiddly, just moving into this area, into there. It kind of disappears into a recess. Kes says, I forget the YouTube channel, but I watched one that blind test paints and they put apple barrel was number 2. Oh, so they actually have got a bit of a name out there. I've just never heard of them. But number 2 though, for dollar store garbage, I think that's brilliant, isn't it? Folk art. Yes, there's a brand here in the UK that I used to use quite extensively called Anita's, and you could buy like a large pot of it that would last you for ages for about £1. And they went up a little bit to like a £1.20, perhaps, so the equivalent of $1 roughly. Quite some time ago now, and you could buy them in so many different colours and different technical style paints, like metallics and things. And some of them weren't worth any attention. Like a lot of the metallics range didn't really. They were probably very good for crafts and things, but not good for, you know, painting miniatures in my mind. But the rest of them, I loved all their browns and khaki colours and greens. They were wonderful. They had some beautiful blues as well. The yellows I didn't get on with very much at the time, but I used them for ages. And because you could buy them in such large quantities for £1, brilliant. And then the company actually disappeared a few years ago, I think. By that point, I had finished using them and moved on to other professional paints, I suppose. But yeah. Kes says, I don't believe apple barrels are available in the UK. Yeah, I've never heard of them, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't have. Oh. Where is it? It's here somewhere. So, in the UK, you will find it's not a dollar store. It's like a craft bargain shop almost, if you like, called The Works. You find them dotted around all over the country, and they do paints in these big squeezy style bottles, and they're often like £1 or £2, and you get them in just the basic primary colours, and they are really good at just good general paints, especially for terrain, large areas and whatever. And they didn't actually have a colour in brown that I wanted for doing like large surfaces of terrain boards, so I ended up getting something very similar from Liquitex. It's a little bit more pricey than the standard stuff, but the 118mm to the 130mm big squeezy tubes, you'll find those in The Works all over the place, and you get everything like black, white, blue, red, pink, green, yellow, but they do some slightly different ones occasionally, and you can buy them in sets, and they're like, I think like £1 or £2 for like a big tube. A little bit bigger than this. This is a Liquitex one, and Liquitex is a good brand. This is a good paint. I use Liquitex for quite a few different things. I use them for inks and things like that as well. And as far as I'm concerned, that their inks are top-notch quality, comparable with Dowler Rowney. So yeah, big volume paints for big volume jobs. My sister swears by Liquitex. There you go. Cool. There's a rumour that they're making the rounds that GW are going to do a pro range of paints and actually have agitators inside. No doubt, the same amount of pain, double the amount of price. Yeah, Kes says that wouldn't surprise me. It's a shame, isn't it, that we've got to that point with some things like Games Workshop products. Lost my menus. Where are my menus? Hello, menus. There we go. Thank you very much. My little Stream Deck is not behaving itself. Yeah, I don't know what to think about that. Citadel makes some really good quality paints. There's some stuff in there that is less quality than others. I really like some of their contrast paints. This is really good. I'm going to explore a lot more with this. Of course, we all know that I absolutely am in love with this one. This has so many applications. Is it a pro paint just because it's in a dropper bottle with an agitator? I don't think that makes it a pro paint. What makes it a pro paint? Because you know that there's going to be a price stamp increase on that, right? There you go, like triple for the price already. So I wonder. I'm not going to remain dubious or sceptical. I've just got a question mark hovering over it, basically. I'm interested to see where it goes. There are some wonderful paint brands out there. GW, Citadel do make good quality paints. I don't like their pots, but I'm not going to hold that against the quality of their paint. Their paint prices are phenomenally higher than other brands, and when you're competing against pro paint creators, manufacturers, brands, it's hard to justify that. It's really hard to justify it. Agitators aren't cheap. No, they are really cheap. They can figure out how to pattern the bottle. Yeah, just just put it in a 17ml dropper bottle. Don't have to worry about the rest of it, do you? Just make your own paints. I can understand why you want to have your own thing, though. To have your own style. I get that. And I don't mind these pots. I don't mind these lids. But every time you pop them open, they just close on you all the time. And there's like a little thing at the back. What's that for? Because it stops it from opening all the way and it pushes it closed all the time. Is it supposed to lock and hold it in place? Because it doesn't work. Oh, I got a little bit angry at that. It doesn't, though. Some very rough colour blocking in here. Going to come along with my little detail brush and just really fill in the edges of this colour blocking a little bit later when I do a second pass on it. Losing the point on my brush. There we go, that's better. Cool. We're getting somewhere. That's a lot to do. It's got a lot of armour. Jeff says he uses Dulux. I mostly use GW paint, but the craft store paint makes a great undercoat over your primer. You're absolutely right. There's a lot of uses for things like that as well. Giving it to Richard Gray and saying off you drop, that makes it pro. Richard Gray, who's he? Is he anything like Bob Ross? Stick another brush in there between the lid and the rim, and that little hinge you were just joking about. Oh, okay. Is that how it's designed to work? Have I missed that? Was that like in a White Dwarf or like an info public service announcement or something? Okay. I'm interested to find out next time I use one. And if it works, of course, I'll credit the advice giver. I'll tell the world that you told me all about it. Another tough bit just to get in behind some of this detail there. Just push the paintbrush in there and hope for the best, really. Okay, so now it's just legs, isn't it? Thighs and shins. Sounds like a poor 1980s workout video. Thighs and shins. Designed to stay open on its own, but sometimes you need a brush handle to keep it propped open. I like the thinking out the box design on that. That's good. Yeah, I've always thought that it felt like that was a design feature, like it was supposed to, because you got like the rounded shape of the lid, haven't you? You got like the rounded scallop coming out of that top piece there. It looks like it's supposed to just hold it, but it doesn't. It doesn't hold it. It never has. Sometimes you're lucky, and it is just blind luck. But like the quality of some of their paints, I do like them. Every brand's got its winners, and it's not so winners. I'm struggling to talk. I like a lot of the Vallejo colours. I think there's some fantastic colours in there. Their oranges, not so strong. Had some real problems with that, some of them. And their metal colour range is fantastic. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should definitely go and check out their metal range. AK Interactive, love them. They're a great brand. Excuse me. Right, literally just the last little bit now before we wrap up for the evening. Now, it's a hinge. It's supposed to work like a door, stop keeping your lid from opening past the 90-degree angle. Yeah, that's the impression I kind of get, so stop it from opening up too far. Getting the chisel to cut away the 3 inches of crap around the outside of the lid. Yeah, sometimes if you don't push the back of the lid down, you get that terrible big ring of dried paint. Not the worst thing in the world, but frustrating enough. Very crudely just filling in these gaps here just to kind of get a little bit more work done with the last little bit of paint I've got left in the palette here. And of course I will go around and really neaten up all the edges. You can see on the fires there, just really roughly push right up to the edges. Not even pushed up to the edges, just very roughly filling in the gaps there. And I will go around and do a better job of it a little bit later on. It's just nice to kind of get a bit more black on it. So I've just got the shins. The hooves, I don't know what I'm going to do with the hooves. I've got a Carnifex here somewhere. Can't remember what I've done with her. Oh, I did paint grey on the hooves. I've done claws as bone and horns and spikes and things as horn, bone, bone colour. And hooves, I was thinking about doing it as bone colour, but I think I've done them grey. I'm open to suggestions. I might actually do them like a bony claw colour. Kind of makes sense to do it that colour, perhaps. Breaks it up a little bit as well. Yes, certainly nice to see all the black coming together on there now. I did like the comment earlier on actually that it was starting to look like a bit of a hornet. I do quite like that, but that black will give way to greys, and it might be that they appear more black than previous iterations. I will get some of my Tyranid collection together next week to kind of show off a little bit of comparisons, all Tyranids that I've done here on the show in the past. But just kind of nice to compare them to see how it's going to look in comparison to them. Anyway, let's move away from here. Love the vodka. Oh, anyway, that's pretty much it for me for this week. It feels like one of those evenings where I haven't got an awful lot done. What are we doing here? I need to practice with my microphone setup, man, because I'm rubbish at the studio stuff, you know. Look at that. What are you doing? Stop that. Anyway, it feels like one of those evenings where I haven't got an awful lot done, but that's taken me a long time to do because there's a lot of focus required in that bit, and that is just blocking all those colours. There's a few fiddly bits, there's a few details where I don't want to get that black colour, having to paint it around, making sure that it goes in nice and tight, and trying to get a good amount of opacity to the layers, enough that when I go on the second coat that I don't have to actually like go over the whole thing perhaps. But just enough to kind of fill it in a little bit. It is going to have greys over the top of it, but I want to make sure that at least all the bits that I'm painting over with white or yellow don't show through, and that takes a little bit of time, and that can be frustrating, it can be infuriating, and that's where the loss of motivation comes in, and that's what this show's all about. bringing people together to kind of fight through those little bits, see the model developing over the journey, and being proud of it at the end. And I'm already really proud of it. It's looking really good. I like it. It's going to be a beast on the tabletop. It's very contrasty at the moment. Like if I hold them up here, you can see that there's a lot of striking bright colours on there, and there's a lot of striking black colours on there, and it does lend to that insect feel, that hornet feel, and I do quite like that. But my colours have always been grey, so maybe I'll leave a little bit more black to show this time around. See how it happens, see how it develops. Make sure that I'm going to get all of the live chat things in there at the end. Just going to flick back up. Table of Horror says, they've only got to last long enough for me to transfer the paint to dropper bottles. Oh, you're one of those people. Do you buy like unbranded dropper bottles and then put little agitators in them? That's kind of cool. Francois says, I feel like the couple of Vallejo that I've tried have been watery and low on pigment. Yes, and that's the problem I had with the orange. Now, I use air paints predominantly. I do have the copycat version of the brush versions of it, basically. A friend of mine gave them to me, and they got like a big case. So, for example, here's a black Vallejo brush. Oops, brush on paint. And it's exactly the same as the Vallejo airbrush paint, so the colours are exactly the same. Black's probably the worst example to use. Just that the one with the black lid is for airbrush, the one with the grey lid is for normal brush, and the airbrush one is for is fluid enough to run through the airbrush. They are, of course, still brushable, and I do use the vast majority of airbrush paints with a brush because you water them down anyway, so they still have that kind of nice sort of texture. But these colours, the oranges, are absolutely awful for covering over. So I use this with an airbrush, and I get some really nice colours out of it. For example, some of my Adeptus Mechanicus miniatures, all painted orange, lovely, but they've got to be sprayed to get any kind of coverage, and it's got to go over a white undercoat. So yeah, I've done a lot with orange in the past, and I've got different brands. I've got Duncan Rhodes 2 thin coats, and I've also got the new Army Painter War Paints Fanatic, just to kind of give them a go and just see like if I need to touch up some of the oranges, how those two compare. Haven't tried the War Paints Fanatic one just yet, but because I'm painting silver and orange predominantly, like it's nice to be able to paint all the silver by airbrush and get some nice crisp colours out of that, and even coverage, and then go over the easier bits with by brush, which is always going to be cloaks. They're always really easy to paint, but orange does not go over that silver. Anyway, in short, Vallejo do make some very good paints, but some of their colour range is incredibly low on pigment, and orange is the worst. Is the worst. In fact, I actually bought the brush version of it, and it was just as bad. So I threw it in the bin. Hate to say that. It's a painting show. Threw it in the bin, Vallejo. Sort your oranges out. Crumb says, Mr. Lady decanting his paints like a pro. Yeah, man, you got to decant your paints if you want to put them into a dropper bottle. I think a dropper bottle is a very sensible approach. Army Painter Greedy Gold from Phase 1. Ye gods, is that a terrible pigment, is it? Rakarth Flesh, then Agrax for the hooves. I like Screaming Skull. I find that the pigmentation of this paint is just fantastic. If I've got to paint over a colour with a weak pigment like that orange on top of the silver, a layer or two of that and then a white over it to make it pop. This covers everything, and then you can put any other colour you want on top of it. It's great for it, but I also really like the bone colour. And then I will use a mixture of sepia tone, Agrax Earthshade, for the sort of the darker colours, if you like, making it all look like bone. I really like that. It's really good. In fact, I was actually looking at buying the War Paints Fanatic tone range. So they do like a wash range, and they do soft tone, dark tone, mid tone, all those sorts of things, and different skin tones, all for washes. They also do things like the blue tones, and I've got the quick shade blue tone. This is not the Fanatic range, this is one of the older ones, and I really like this. This is a really good it's a really good quality wash paint. And you could buy a set of them, and I was going to get them from Grant at Overlord Games. So you should definitely go and check out Overlord, because he stocks, he's an official stockist of Army Painter, and he's got some great deals, and you can always buy pretty much everything from Army Painter from him. And he's just this really swell guy, and he lives local, and you should support him because he's a nice guy. Hey, I transferred these paints myself. I doubled their value and added agitator, so that's like 5 times the value now. GW pay me, they won't. Thanks for the stream. You're welcome. We're pretty much coming to the end, just making sure everyone gets their credit now. Too much vodka? What? Man, you know what's the worst? German sausage. Yeah, because you knew you hadn't threw a pun in this evening, so you had to throw one in there. Yeah, it is. You're right. For those people that don't know, I can see question marks going in. The German word for sausage is Wurst. Francois says, "You shabby bone looks amazing over apple barrel light brown." I'll have to give it a go. Anyway, thanks very much for saying it's a nice show. Love that. Love you guys. Thanks very much for coming along. It's great to have new viewers. Do consider subscribing if you haven't already. The bigger the subscriber count, the bigger the community, and I put the show together for you guys, bringing everybody together. It's a great feeling to be the reason that people come together to share in the passion for the hobby, and I love picking up tips and advice and things from you guys. Anyway, that is enough for me this week. We were, as a Easy 8 team, going to be going to the Tank Museum in Bovington in Dorset tomorrow, but actually we have now cancelled our plans. There has been an outbreak of sickness within the Easy 8 team, and we thought that, do you know what, we would go as a larger team rather than a small team just piddling around. But if you are interested, you should definitely go to the Tank Museum. They have the Southwest Model Show on, so you are going to look at period pieces of model displays of armour from First World War, predominantly Second World War, in various different scales, from hundreds of different modelers and collectors and groups, in and around actual artefacts in a tank museum, and it's an incredible experience. Me and the Easy 8 team have been before. Knock over my Screamer-Killer there. We've been before. We just decided to avoid it this time to save everybody's health. But you should go and check it out anyway, because it's a wonderful establishment and a great display at the same time. Anyway, that's enough for me this week. I'm going to head on over to Discord at the Easy After Party if you fancy coming over for a video chat or even just a typey type. That's absolutely fine. And then I'm going to spend the rest of the night cleaning up here, doing a little bit of painting, and then maybe head over and do some gaming with some of you. Anyway, until next week, stay safe, be kind, keep on painting, get some colour on your grey, and I will see you soon. Take care for now. Bye-bye. That was some weird music to finish on, right? Made it felt lonely, dystopian. Yeah, you're right, I've had too much vodka.